Right, welcome again to another digital event by the Decus Network. Today we're going to be witnessing a pitch competition event hosted together with BLOCKROCKET, Germany's biggest blockchain startup accelerator. And today it's going to be a slightly new format for those of you who have joined last time. We have 7 startups pitching and 3 judges or jurors who are investors themselves asking questions. The details of this will be explained by BLOCKROCKET CEO Benjamin right after my quick intro. So let's hop to one important logistical thing. As this call is going to be big, everyone's going to be on mute except the speakers. If you have any questions, suggestions, whatsoever during the talk or afterwards, you can post this in this WhatsApp group. You can scan it with your QR code scanner app or your iPhone camera app. If you can't scan it for some reason, the link to the WhatsApp group is also in the email you've just received with the Zoom link. So just click on it, it will open. And if you have a question towards the startup, post it in there. All the startups, all the speakers are in this group, so they can answer there as well. Because we are tight on time, so we will not be able to get every question to be asked towards the startups, but we'll do our best to enable that. If your question isn't asked, then rest assured the startups are in there as well. So you'll receive an answer either after this or during the call. That's it from my side. I hope you enjoyed the event and learn a lot of new stuff on what's going on and what's hot in blockchain right now. And with that, I'll hand over to Benjamin.
Perfect. Then also good morning from my side. Just let me quickly share my slides. Can you see my slides?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Cool.
Yeah, we can see that, yeah.
All right, nice. So just quickly for the agenda today, we have 7 startups that will each pitch their ideas in 3 minutes. So that means this time we have much more time for our Q&A. That will be approximately 3 to 4 minutes. This time it's also the first time that we invited a jury of 3 different investors / VCs that will lead the Q&A sessions. As an audience, you also have the opportunity to post your questions in the WhatsApp chat. I will try to moderate. So depending on how many questions we have and how tight our time is, we might include some of your questions to the Q&A as well. In case if we don't have enough time for that, for some startups, then feel free to reach out to the startups directly after the event or reach out to us, and we are very happy to connect you to the founders as well. Yeah, so just 2 minutes about us, and then I will hand over to the jury and the first pitch for today. So we are from BLOCKROCKET. BLOCKROCKET is a digital accelerator for blockchain startups in Germany. What is new for us is that starting from 2020, we plan with the first 10 to 15 seed investments ourselves. So we will invest into startups with ticket sizes up to 100,000 euros. We do not necessarily invest in every startup that's part of our program, but they will become part of our selection pool. Second, what we offer to startups is we offer exposure to events. We have at least 1 to 2 events per month, varying from investor roadshows, public events, similar to the one today, but also smaller workshops, etc. We also help with consulting and mentoring services to startups regarding sales, HR, business development, etc. And we also help startups with matchmaking services. So basically, if you're a blockchain startup and you're interested in the ecosystem in Germany, then we can basically introduce you to any relevant stakeholders, ranging from partners, investors, other startups, media contacts, etc. Our program exists roughly since a year already. We picked up quite some traction, especially last few months. We received more than 125 startup applications from blockchain startups in Germany. The first 40 startups are part of our basic program. We have more than 200 partner organizations we work with, and we organized more than 20 events, startup competitions, etc. already. Before Corona, we were also active in several cities, so mostly Berlin, Frankfurt, and Munich. As of the moment, everything is digital, but let's see how that turns out the next month to come. That's just a quick overview of different types of partnerships we have in the blockchain ecosystem in Germany. So it's basically ranging from legal companies, tech companies, business consultancies, investors, banks, corporates, etc., etc. Our program, I think, is most interesting for early stage blockchain startups that would like to operate within the German market. So either if you are a startup that would like to be part of our program, or if you're curious, then feel free to apply on our website, blockrocket.io. If you are interested in potential collaborations with us as a partner or as an investor, then please feel free to reach out to me personally. And yeah, that's it from my side. Now I would like to hand over for 20-30 seconds each to the jury so they can introduce themselves. And I would like to start with Wolfgang from Tatros Innovation.
Okay, good morning. So Wolfgang Mendel. I've been in private equity since 2000, so that makes 20 years, and that would, by the book, give me a lot of experience. But what I learned is that blockchain investing is very different, also for VCs. So there are lots of new tricks to learn. And I'm glad to be here and glad to listen to great entrepreneurial ideas around blockchain today.
All right, nice, thanks. Then next would be Benedict from Tokentos.
Hi everybody, I'm Benedikt Schulz. I represent Tokentos Investment AG, which is a newly founded smart money investor vehicle. Yeah, we want to accelerate blockchain-enabled business models in startups. So if you guys have an interesting project or startup in this area, feel free to pop me an email through startups@tokentos.com or just reach out to me on LinkedIn. And happy to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Perfect, thanks Benedict. And lastly, Christoph from coindex.
Yeah, hi, my name is Christoph Lunderski. I'm CEO of Hamburg-based blockchain investor coindex. We are listed at the stock exchange and we are around since 2017, so quite some time. Have done a number of investments since then. In general, we invest in token projects, in, of course, early stage equity investments, do convertible notes, but all kinds of financing in that area. And we also invest in cryptocurrencies or coins in general. A couple investments that we've made are in crypto tax, for example. Ours, Tuki, 2030 amongst them. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing a couple great ideas today. And if you're interested, get in touch with us afterwards. We'll post our details as well in the group. Thanks.
Perfect, thanks Christoph. Okay, so before we start with the first startup, one more thing to mention. So we will have a small voting session for every participant after all the 7 startup pitches are completed. So basically you can vote for your favorite pitch for today. The jury will do the same, and then we will consolidate the results. And then at the end of the event, we will announce which startup was the favorite of jury and of the audience. It will be an anonymous vote, and you only announce the startup that was voted as the favorite startup for this event today. Perfect. And first one up would be Marius from coindex. Yes, perfect. Can see your slides.
I'm asking you to unmute Marius.
I think he's still muted, yeah. Wait. I unmuted you now.
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
now?
we can hear you now. Yep, perfect. Okay.
Okay.
Now you can start.
But can you see my slides now again?
Yes, can see your slides as well.
Okay, so perfect. This is where I stopped, I think. So yeah, my name is Marius and this is coindex. And especially right now, we are living in a time where digital assets are becoming more and more attractive to the wider population. And we see that especially retail investors and many more people are looking for alternative forms of investments. And many people want to invest. But those digital assets and crypto assets also introduce new challenges. There are over 5,000 assets, foreign marketplaces, wallet technologies, just to name a few. The result is that only few people can actually invest. So with coindex, we are opening the market for those retail investors and for mass adoption by building the first platform for index-based portfolios. And to realize all of this under fulfillment of regulatory requirements right here in Germany, we are working with 2 partners, but more on that later. The core of coindex is the index-based portfolio for everyone. With an index-based portfolio, you automatically get the top assets of the crypto space with a data-driven weighting. And the portfolio is always automatically rebalanced, and you can just set up a savings plan to keep everything going. Then there are also custom portfolios, which can be used to either supplement your strategy or to create your own basket, of course, also with the savings plan. Especially with the index-based strategy, we are trying to bring together the best out of two worlds. Basically, the comfort of an ETF and advantages of digital assets. So it was very important for us to maintain this ideology and to make sure that the user always gets real exposure and can always get the assets out of the product. And on top of that, we also make sure to keep the tax burden at the minimum. Working with those partners I mentioned earlier allows us to be regulatory compliant and work as bank level secure. And to fuel all of this, we created 5 different modules which the partners use. In this setup, basically the partner bank takes care of all the trading activities, while the custody partner takes care of storing the assets. And both of them, as I mentioned, use the software that is developed and maintained by us to provide this service to the customers. And all of this infrastructure can be used as a whole solution or per service. So for example, right now we are building this data product, which is basically similar to CoinMarketCap or something, next to coindex. And also beside this B2C platform we are working on, we are gaining some traction on the B2B models. For example, we are in talks with a very promising lead for white labeling, which is basically B2B2C. And we also signed a letter of intent for the SaaS model. And right now we are working on the launch of the platform and on raising more funds. So please get in touch if you're interested there. And yeah, Coindex is starting this summer, so why not jump in now?
Perfect. Thanks a lot. Then handing over to Drew. Do you guys have some questions?
Marius, how exactly do you earn money? If I understand it right, you're an interface so that the customers of the bank, for example, can buy cryptocurrencies or put their own portfolio together. But how in the end do you earn money? Do you charge the bank, or do you charge a percentage or a transaction fee or something like that?
Yeah, so basically the user pays a monthly fee for using the product. And that fee goes to the banking partner, and basically a part and a split of this fee goes to us then. And that is based on user amount, assets under management, and some more KPIs, which basically then brings our revenue.
So the bank's customer pays the bank a fee for this, and then you get a share of that, if I understood that right.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
How much AUM do you expect with your go live in summer?
We are planning for getting to like 5 million pretty soon in the first few months, and then from there get to I think 20 million if I get it right within 1 year. Yeah.
And have you ever thought about using a fund of fund structure, or let's say rather a token of fund structure to make your portfolios directly investable through a token?
We thought about some options. We went for this one because it gives us the most freedom basically to just have index-based portfolios and custom portfolios and always change the index-based portfolios, and it's really easy to then also do the rebalancing and stuff like that, while always maintaining this exposure thing or issue that I mentioned, because we always want to make sure that, like, for example, if you have a portfolio consisting of 10 different assets, that you can get exactly those assets out of the product and not just like one fund or one number, basically, or one asset.
And is there any mechanism that ensures compliance of your tokens? So is there any way that you prevent fraudulent tokens or fraudulent assets, scams and stuff like this?
You mean assets coming into the index?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so basically we have an index committee, and every month we do our own research. So we have one person who just does a monthly research of the top 100 assets. And then if we find anything, we hand this over to the index committee, which consists of 4 persons. And they again then check if they see anything that could or might be problematic. And if that's not the case, then we put everything live, like the new constituents. But if they find anything, we go into a review process and then decide if we want to blacklist assets. And we already have a blacklist where some assets are listed on.
Okay, just one quick follow-up question from the audience. Is Coindex Germany connected to the entity Coindex UK?
No.
Or is it independent?
It's independent, yeah.
Independent.
Yeah.
Okay, understood. Cool. If there are any other questions, please feel free to reach out to Marius directly.
Yeah,
Thanks
I'll
for
post everything in chat. Thanks.
Perfect. Cool. Then next would be Antoine. One second. Okay, you should be unmuted now. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can.
Perfect.
Do you see the screen?
Yes,
Sides?
yes, can you see can see your screen? Works well.
Perfect. Nice. Hi, everyone. Nice to be here. I'm Antoine. I'm co-founder and CEO of Cryptio. Cryptio is a professional accounting software for digital assets. Our mission is to make accounting for digital assets business as usual. When you are a traditional business, let's say early stage startup, and you want to take care of your accounting, basically what you're doing is you're opening an account on a cloud-based accounting system like Xero, QuickBooks. You link this account to your bank account through API. All the transactions are getting imported automatically, and you give an access to your accountant. It's kind of business as usual. When you are the same startup, but you're holding digital assets, the same process, the same automatic process does not exist. You need to account for your digital assets manually. What it means is that you need to get all the transactions from the different wallets or exchange accounts that your company is using. You need to consolidate this data. You need to value all this transaction history in euro, in your local currency. As it is linked to multi-currency accounting, you need to do cost basis, gains and losses, computations. And once you've done all this, once you have all this data manually in an Excel, you need to push the data into your cloud-based accounting system, because this is the system that at the end will give you a balance sheet or an income statement. And those systems are not made for receiving and processing crypto-related transactions. So that's what we're doing at Cryptio. Cryptio is an automated bookkeeping software that plugs directly to your company's back office. So exactly the same way as you could use, for instance, Expensify to manage your business expenses, process this data and push accounting data to your accounting system, you will use Cryptio to process, analyze digital assets data and push accounting ready data to your accounting system. Today, top companies in the space are paying for our software, companies like Cello, Consensus, other in the DeFi industry. And basically, we've been building with these companies like the first brick of what we want to build. What we want to build is not just a tool for crypto companies. What we want to build is basically a communication layer between digital asset and traditional reporting standards. So we're starting with crypto native companies, and we building the, what we want to build is a kind of essential brick piece of infrastructure for massive B2B adoption. Think about, for instance, use case like digital payment through Libra or central bank stablecoin or tokenized assets. And for all these use cases, we want to be the bridge between traditional reporting software and digital assets and blockchains. The team has been building professional software for 5 years. I've done B2B SaaS investment in VC firm in Paris called Ventec. My co-founder worked at Cisco for 4 years in California. We are backed by industry leaders. Consensus is our pre-seed investor. We are a permanent member of the Accounting Blockchain Coalition in New York. And basically what we're looking for today is companies holding, of course, companies holding digital asset. We can get your, feel free to contact us. We could get your accounting done hand-to-hand with your accounting firms. We're looking for partners, custody solutions, payment solutions, in order to provide hand-to-hand solutions with accounting covered. And we're gonna open a seed round pretty soon. So we're also looking for investors. Thank you.
All right, perfect. Thanks for the pitch. Jury, do you have some questions?
Antoine, how much is that how much effort do you need to put in to localize this product for various countries? Because obviously accounting can be a very national affair. Is that are you targeting sort of the world with this product, or do you focus on certain countries?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Actually, the I kind of lied, because this is not an accounting software. This is more a bookkeeping software. So meaning that what we're doing is that we are a data provider for accounting systems. You won't get from a software like a French GAAP balance sheet, or a German an income statement with German accounting rules. What you will get is data that you can directly push to the accounting system, and the accounting system is the system that is doing the that is producing the balance sheet or the income statement. So that way we're not blocked by any kind of jurisdiction. The few things that we have to take into account is basically the way to compute gains and losses that could be different from a country to another. So we've developed that it's like you have 2-3 different ways. But once you have that, you can basically work with nearly any kind of businesses in any kind of country. So today we have clients in the US, we have clients in the UK, in France, in Germany, in Singapore. So yeah, we're a data provider and not real an accounting system.
And what is your exact business model? So are you a B2B SaaS, or do you get remunerated by API calls or whatever?
Yeah, right now the first what you have access to is a B2B SaaS product where you pay a monthly subscription. It's pretty straightforward. You pay a monthly subscription based on the volume and the volume of transaction that your company has, and yeah, very classic B2B SaaS model. And in the future we plan to develop to turn our product into an API, so that you can so that every kind of businesses that provide digital assets to the solution to other businesses can add a bookkeeping layer on top of the offer. Think about like custody solutions, for instance.
And how many clients do you already have?
Right now we have around 20 clients.
Antoine, as far as I know, not only the accounting rules are different in each country, it's also the software that is used on an enterprise level in the end that you want to plug into. So you mentioned in the US, of course, QuickBooks is very widely known and spread. And for example, in Germany, we have other systems that we use, right? There are some that use LexOffice or DATEV or whatever. Is that a challenge, or how do you?
Yeah, it is a challenge. Right now, what we have our strategy, what we've decided to do so far is to basically the thing that is like the cool thing is that all these software, the way you have to import and to push data into the software is kind of the same from different software. Like for instance, the difference between DATEV or QuickBooks, basically what you push to the software either kind of bank statements or ledger entries. So if you're doing this thing right, if you're building bank statement, or more interesting, you're building ledger entries, so your software is able to build ledger entries, then the first step is you just give ledger entries report, and the accounting firm or the CFO just have to download the CSV and upload it to the accounting system. That's like the first step. That's what we're doing now. And the second step, if once you have that, it's just like it's like the last kilometer just to work on the API integration. But first step, it could be used with any kind of software with a little bit of manual work. Once you have that and you've iterated on that and that works, you do the additional step, and in that sense, you will face this issue, which is okay, by which software I'm starting with.
Okay, perfect. I need to cut short, unfortunately. There's a few questions from the audience as well. So in this case, again, please reach out to Antoine directly. Yeah, thanks for your pitch, Antoine.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And then next, I would like to hand over to Simon from Decus Network. Okay, 1 second, Simon. I will unmute you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Perfect.
Yeah, can see your slides.
Perfect.
You can start.
Yeah, glad to be here today. I'm representing the Decus Network GmbH, and my name is Simon Peters, Managing Director of Decus Network, and I'm happy if you add me already on LinkedIn, so we can stay in contact after this, and you can send me questions if you have any about our product. And what is our product? Our product is that we are or want to become the custody interface for asset managers. For the audience, quickly explained, custody is a financial service or service provider that keeps your assets safe, and an asset manager is a financial professional who on your behalf invests your assets. And so you have two players that definitely are closely related. What we do as Decus Network, we help exactly these players to work better together. So we approach the asset manager and give him one interface so that he may work with the different players, mainly custodians and exchanges. And there's three main use cases why an asset manager should use Decus. So the first use case might be that a client comes who already has a certain custody setup and wants to keep it. So you may just plug it in and can work with the assets that are safeguarded in the wallet. The second use case is maybe as a client who wants to invest in very different assets, for example, cryptocurrencies, which have a high volatility and you might trade quickly, or real estate, which you want to keep safe long-term and put them better in a cold storage setup where they are not in any way in danger. Or the last option is you have a client who has no custody setup at all, and so you can, on his behalf, just open a wallet at a certain custodian for him. And also Decus focus on the custody side, but thanks to our partners Proxys Capital, also have the option to trade over 80 crypto exchanges right out of the interface of Decus. And yes, that's what we do. We enable asset managers to manage assets clients across custodians, across wallets and exchanges in one neat interface. And yeah, it has mainly three main features. So you as an asset manager have one where you see an aggregated view of all assets under management. You can assign separated sub-accounts, so you can group wallets that belong to a certain client and give your client access looking on these wallets so that the client may see the change of value over time. And also you as an organization can customize rules and workflows. So you might have in one organization certain rules such as every trade that goes beyond 250,000 US dollars of worth must be approved by a director. So we want to make it very easy for you to build your real organization into that program. And thank you very much for your time. I think my time is over, and please add me if you have any questions on LinkedIn, or shoot me a mail, or just text me. Thank you very much.
All right, perfect. Thanks for your pitch, Simon. Are there some questions from you?
Simon, you mentioned Block Size Capital there as a partner as well. How specifically do you differ from Block Size Capital? What do you do different? I didn't get that in the short pitch though.
Block Size Capital is focusing. So first of all, we're a daughter company of Block Size Capital. So if we sound very similar to Block Size Capital, it is because we're part of the Block Size Capital group. What we do is the custody side. So Block Size Capital connects 80 exchanges, connect all the custodians.
Got it. But the overview that you're mentioning, for example, is that something that you pull then from Block Size, or is it something that you create on your own?
The overview, the aggregated asset overview.
Yeah.
That's the question. No, that would be something we're building or working on our own interface for that, but it would also be integrated in the Block Size core and matrix. So
got it.
Also in their interfaces. We build different tech and use it for different things, but whether you see it in the Decus interface or in the Block Size Capital interface, it's not an issue.
Simon, what's your value or exit strategy on Decus?
The firm, I think it is about becoming a very valid infrastructure player, and because I mean, our business model is transaction value, so I would be good to become a global dominant player and keep it.
But ultimately, who would you like to sell it to?
I think I mean, the only organizations that came into question would be larger banks in the end, but or other custody companies. But I don't think there's any intention to sell it.
Simon, I would be interested in, do you provide any form of optimization in the sense of a part of plain diversification that you shift assets from or through different custody providers? Let's say like Raisin does it with deposits.
So there's several things about that. So there's the risk associated with the custody service provider. And what we're trying to do is to balance that risk. So we might not recommend the client to have all assets in a single custodian, but to spread it across. You know, every house can be set on fire at times, and so it's better to not have all your eggs in the same house. And also for server downtimes, for example, which is the thing that most people don't think about, but you know, servers can be down, and even not financial institutions. So also there, you know, like balance your assets that you're not going offline just because there's a lag somewhere. Yes. Okay, perfect. Then we need to cut short here, unfortunately. Again, feel free to reach out to Simon directly for further questions. Thanks for your pitch, Simon. Thank you very much. Then next one to come up would be Holger from IP Ocean.
Yes, hello everybody. I want to present, my name is Holger Geisler. I want to present to you the Trust Network IP Ocean. So let me quickly start sharing the screen here. So I hope everybody's seeing it. So just to start, make a long story short, we all feel we have some kind of bad feeling. We have some kind of fear when we start sharing our important and valuable information via the internet. And that's what we are solving with IP Ocean, with the Trust Networks. It's about data ownership protection, so that you secure your ownership over data, over your intellectual property, that you can do trusted data exchange with an NDA automatically signed in the background, and that you can immediately start collaboration and innovation and have a good feeling with it. And why is collaboration and innovation so important? It's important because you have to do innovation because you have to succeed and survive in the future. And companies who have failed are plenty. You see BlackBerry, everybody knows them. They failed on the innovation side, so they're simply disappeared. And that's the reason why it's so important. And we are living in a world of limited talent, resources, time, and trust. And we are facing now the problem, how in the end of the day can we overcome, or can we use the internet to really protect our ownership of data? How can we use the internet to quickly exchange know-how, data, and ideas? And how in the end of the day do we get fast access to, in a trusted setting, via the internet? And that's what we solved with the Trust Network. Securing ownership, exchanging information cross companies, starting collaboration, innovation, bringing people together on one platform and a one-stop shop, fast, secure, and most importantly, at a pretty low price. And we have a pretty good market. So we looked at from bottom up and top down perspective of the market. The serviceable obtainer market is about 140 million. The overall market is much bigger. And looking at competition, there's no real competition out there because we are coming from the industry side. We looked at the processes, we designed all the processes to make this thing work. And none of the competitors has a virtual legal process in the background. None of the competitors allows to do on-demand B2B groups so that people can work in their trust environment. And we only developed over the last 12 months, we are ready, we launched our product now. This was based on a pretty strong team because we have a pretty complementary and strong skill set. On the one hand side with strategy, technology, and marketing. And that this product is really interesting to people in the market is showing just the traction we are getting with our product. We are currently starting with two of these guys, two big guys here, open innovation contest. And just think about open innovation or hackathons, how important it is to secure the ownership, that people start participating. Before securing an idea, you take months and then spend a lot of money to protect your idea. Here you can simply start in minutes. Within one day, you can more or less set up your open innovation and you can kick it off and share all the links, invite all the people. So we have two big players who are starting on our platform, and that's exactly also the marketing strategy on our side. So we are going out to the market, we are running pilots, the pilot people, inviting other people. This is in the end of the day, creating in the end of the day a pull, demand pull effect. And we will convert these clients then into paying customers. It's a freemium model. That is the basis for this one. And so content delivery is for free, but using it for business, it starts where it costs money. We have a pretty strong, pretty clear roadmap. So we have currently launched the minimal viable product here. We're starting our pilots, but we're now looking also for money because we have to support, we have to do the coaching, we have to do the training in order to leverage really our platform. And so please reach out to us. We are looking for 500K. And in order to really make this launch successful and support this launch. And so thanks to our cooperation partners here, I think our time is short. So therefore, thanks to TechBoost, the telecom program, BlockRocket. And if you want to meet us here on the Digital Future Congress, it's a virtual show on the 26th to 28th. Come there. So there's this QR code. If you scan it, there's a promo code. You can enter the Digital Virtual Congress for free there. So this promo code is for free. And happy to take here any questions.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for the pitch. Then, yeah, let's cut questions a little bit shorter this time, 2 minutes. Jerry, do you have some questions?
Well, I guess innovation is one of my pet topics. So I'd be happy to ask the first question. I mean, Holger, there have been a number of sort of innovation platforms in the past that some have worked, some haven't so well. What would you say to someone who would say, now innovation isn't about a trusted platform, it's more about a corporate culture and the right mindset rather than the IT infrastructure?
That's similar, correct, but the IT infrastructure is helping changing the culture. We have discussed that exactly with one company called Sanofi. They have internally, especially the problem that the people go back to the lab and work on the solution for half a year. They want that people start working together. So they're looking for a social network that delivers in the end of the day the trust. The blockchain is delivering a fingerprint exactly at the point in time when you deliver the idea. People can come up and more or less start collaborating on the idea, responding to the idea. And this is an interactive platform. You're not only securing the data, you're kicking it off and more picking up on it, adding their ideas. If you go back to your lab, somebody else is pushing it in there, the idea, you're simply getting, you simply can't win anymore, because if people start collaborating, innovation will accelerate significantly, because you see all these people coming together. And especially if you're working cross organizations, you need an NDA signed before you start sharing information if you're working in a consortium. And that's what you're doing on the platform. You're signing NDAs at the same point in time when you're sharing the information, when people are accepting the information. And why we believe it works? Because the platform was really developed with the people you have seen on the slide, because we discussed with them how exactly must the process work and run, so that you, in the end of the day, feel comfortable using the platform.
And your business model would be a fee for using the platform?
It's a subscription model, correct. And you're paying by seat. It's a freemium model. So that's an advanced premium layer. And the bigger guys want to go for an enterprise version in the end because they buy more seats, but they want to have user administration on top.
How much would it be for a large cap?
Sorry?
How much would it be for a large enterprise?
A large enterprise, so if everybody from a large enterprise, like a size of DSF, is 500,000 per year, but the seat on a premium seat, it starts in the end with 250K, 200 euros per month, 2,500 per year.
Olga, I think one of the challenges is here you need to convince the decision makers in the organization to buy this tool, and an even bigger challenge, I think, is to push the tool throughout the organization. That needs to be accepted by the users as well, right? Because if it's not, then it fails in the end, and you would lose the customer after half a year. Is there any way how you can ensure the users? Is there some, I don't know, gamification in there or something like that that makes it easier for the customers to actually? It's not the customer actually; it's the user, right? The customer is somebody different than the user in that case.
Yes, the point is the investment level is pretty low because there's no investment to do. It's a platform. We are running the platform. It's a freemium model. They can start with a normal premium seats in the beginning. That's what they're doing with the pilots. They can transition into the product. They can have a white label version if they want to make this, take this down the road somewhere to really have a big white label version. Keeping the people on the platform, I think the strength is in cross-organizational innovation or exchanges of any type of sensitive data. And here it's especially important to run these hackathons or these open innovation challenges in the beginning, because these people are reaching out to a big community to get ideas in. And we have here the International Younger Chemist Network, which is collaborating with us in order to come up with ideas, responding to ideas. And you see the platform, there are featured content on there. It's a pretty easy. It's a pretty easy platform. You can work on the platform while driving on your home, on your mobile. So it's pretty easy to use because you have pretty basic steps. But the key aspect is if you send something in, you have a fingerprint that you have really done it. Yeah, and you can prove you have done it, and you've signed an NDA if you want to. Yeah.
Okay. So as soon as I get it correct, your incentivation for users.
I need to cut short, unfortunately. I'm really sorry. Okay. Otherwise, we extend too much in terms of time. Otherwise, you can reach out to Holger directly if you want.
No, thanks for the question.
Same for the audience.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks for your pitch, Holger. Then next one would be Nino. One second. Nino, can you hear us? Okay, you should be unmuted. Can you hear us now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
The stock price of Zoom went up 130% since February this year. Forbes magazine writes the protective measures to prevent the spreading of coronavirus are driving demand and sales for gaming, home entertainment, and home office products. Life and consumer habits are already changing with long-lasting effects. People want to buy products where they can get the best conditions and interesting rewards. While the European Central Bank is printing another 200 billion euros this year, people also want value. The news about Bitcoin halving increased web traffic by 1,800% according to Google Trends. But there are still two main entry barriers into actually owning cryptocurrency. First, technical challenges. I don't know about you guys, but I constantly get these questions like, where can I buy Bitcoin and other tokens? What's the best wallet? What's a private key and how do I keep it safe? Secondly, financial risk. People keep asking me, will the price go up or down? Is now a good time or should I wait to invest? In the highly competitive market, online shops need to offer unique advantages, especially if they are looking for a loyal and returning customer base. The third stakeholder are blockchain platforms and developers still looking for the productive killer application that will drive mass adoption. We have created Loot to remove those entry barriers and connect all stakeholders. Our mission is easy. We want to make cryptocurrency risk-free and available for everyone. As part of our community, you just need to follow 3 simple steps. Install the app, shop your PlayStation, new TV or headset at our partner stores, and thirdly, get rewarded with free cryptocurrencies. For our partner shops, we provide a unique experience and rewards while they can focus on their core business. Starting the first campaign is also easy. Pick 10 products and add a discount percentage, integrate a few lines of code into the shopping backend, and see increased traffic and higher customer satisfaction results. We have bootstrapped this project with the team's private resources to the following results. We have a prototype app with a great user experience using gamification elements like status levels and leaderboards. Basic partner shop integration tests are completed too. Our dedicated team is experienced in growing communities and converting followers on social media to customers, proven on several e-commerce businesses. Our core business model works the same way as a traditional cashback company. We negotiate the best deals with our partner shops, keep 50% as our revenue, and give the other 50% back to the community in cryptocurrency. During this seed round, we have already the commitment from a strong lead VC and 1 angel. Also, 2 co-investors are currently in the middle of their due diligence process. With your investment, we are prepared to launch the application and go to market within 3 months, just in time before the Christmas sales. We offer a simple but very much needed product that is going to be unique on the German and European market. The timing is perfect to establish our brand now and scale it together because it's absolutely rewarding.
All right, perfect. Thanks for your pitch. Jury, do you have some questions?
Yeah, one of them would be, so couldn't you just use fiat cashback rewards? Or is it crypto?
That's a question that I get a lot. We think this is one of our USPs, that we want to bring innovation into the loyalty game. So when you look at like how Miles and More started and then Payback stepped onto the scene, now we have Schub, who is the biggest player in Germany, who said Payback was yesterday, today is cashback, and we go even one step further and say cashback was yesterday and crypto back is today.
Tokenized equity would be much more interesting, I guess.
Of course. I mean, there's our model is here, keep it simple, go to market and generate revenues, because that's what a lot of blockchain communities out there, they have big ambitious goal, but they're super complex and it's not clear when they're going to start making normal revenues. So we want to keep it simple and clean, go to the market. And then of course we have, using blockchain technology, we have a lot of options to further develop the product, to provide like escrow services, to provide other types of smart contracts, to make more sophisticated loyalty programs. But to go live, we want to keep it simple. You go shopping and you get cryptos as a reward, as simple as that.
And a part of using crypto is, what is your main USP against all the other cashback providers?
That we offer crypto. So like at Schub, for example, you can choose Bitcoin as an option. They have a variety of like how do you want to cash out your rewards. But our main USP would be that we give cryptocurrency and we remove those entry barriers. Yeah, we take care of all the technical part. We handle everything for the user in the back end. And also you don't have to invest additional cash. That's our USP. We have a role model actually on the American market that is super successful. It's called lolly.com. They have almost 1,000 partners like Groupon, Sonos, and so on. But they're only focusing the North American market. And we want to introduce something very similar to what the Somewhere brothers have been doing over the years to the German and European market as a new thing for this area, for this market.
And when you say crypto, do you mean Bitcoin, or is because for the normal housewife that is buying a product and wants to get his cash back? I mean, crypto is already too much. Bitcoin might be too much, but I mean, when you say crypto, is it?
Yeah.
What kind of crypto?
Yeah, so as you can see on the slide, the first version, the first iteration will be EOS or Euro. So you have an option if you want to cash out in EOS or in Euros. And then obviously we are going to expand and also provide other cryptocurrencies and other options.
Okay.
Okay, then let's cut it here. Perfect. Thanks for the pitch, Nino. Again, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to him directly. And last pitch for today is from Julian. 1 second. Okay, you should be unmuted now. Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Perfect. All right, so my name is Julian and I will present you what we call Own It. Let me start with one number, 4 billion. 4 billion people, even more than 4 billion people are currently using the internet. And actually it changed all of our lives in a huge and positive way. But actually it's incredible how it actually changed from having like an email service, like changing text from A to B, and now having services like a Google or Facebook. But not everything evolved with the same speed. There's actually one part that did not evolve the same way as the other parts of the internet actually did. And actually, this is creating a gap on the one hand, but also a very huge opportunity on the other hand. And I want to show you this opportunity today basically with two numbers. On the one hand, 85% of the people say they don't recommend a service, a digital service that you actually don't trust. So people need trust in the digital world as they need in an analog world. But in an analog world, you can simply reach into your pocket and get out your ID card, which you cannot do in a digital world, which actually leaves us with a situation that we have 4.4 billion people that actually don't have any digitally usable ID card. And this is actually the opportunity I'm talking about to actually solve this kind of problem. And let me please elaborate why actually this problem occurred. And it's mainly because internet was created to share as much information as possible. You had to really make information available to all people all over the world. So actually restricting information is not part of the initial protocol. It was mainly put on top of it. And so it still feels like a very isolated and very complex topic. And this is why we said, okay, let's step one step back and really rethink identity. And what really came out of this is what we call Own It. Own It is our approach to really drive this field a huge leap forward. And actually Own It is consisting out of 3 parts. On the one hand, you have a user. Why I, as a user, have to provide my credentials, my data to every website. Every website I want to log in, I have to re-provide my data, my passwords. I have to think about new passwords and even remember them. But on the one hand, on the other hand, everybody of us actually has some kind of verified data somewhere, for example, at the bank or the telecommunications provider. So Own It is actually a platform which enables a user to take this verified data, for example, from a bank where you already have this data, and use it wherever you want. For example, you can use it at an online shop. Yeah, you can do some online shopping and actually use the verified data, which actually leaves like a win-win-win situation for all 3 parties involved in there. On the one hand, you have a user, as mentioned, very easy and completely convenient and full control of the data. He can share wherever, he can choose where the data actually should be shared to and actually see it and actually revoke the access. On the other hand, you have a service provider like an online shop, which basically gets a very easy verification methodology and can reduce a lot of risk. And on the other hand, you have an issuer, which already has, for example, KYC data and actually can use this data to monetize it. And this is what we call Own It. And Own It is a platform that's already in use at a huge German telecommunications company. And we are currently looking for more industries and prototypes we can reach out to. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks for your pitch, Julian. Okay, so before we jump to the questions, this is the time to do the voting for today. So as the audience, there should be a screen popping up in your Zoom screen. Please vote for the startup or the pitch that you like the most. For the jury, please use the form that I sent you privately. And let's give ourselves 30 seconds to a minute to do the voting. And then we jump to the Q&A while we evaluate it. There's a question how the data is certified. It's actually in this case based on trust that we as BlockRocket don't cheat. So we privately send the voting mechanism to the jury and also to you as an audience. We want to make it anonymous for the direct poll itself because we don't want to make it uncomfortable for any startup. So basically we'll just point out who's the winner for the event today. But there doesn't come an investment or like great price with it. So there should be no legal connections.
Okay, well, everybody's voting. Can we ask questions?
Yes, if you're done voting for yourself as jury, then please go ahead with questions, yes.
Julian, is that a sort of winner takes it all business model where you have to be the key identity provider to become big, or how do you see that?
No, I don't think so. So I think there are a lot of companies that actually try to do this and say, okay, this is just working if we create like the full digital identity. But I think it's much more fun to have it like in kind of smaller groups or consortiums. You have to really look into industries and say, okay, inside this kind of group of companies, for example, you can use it. And I'm not just talking about the B2C, but also about the B2B context, where you can actually use it in a company where, for example, we are talking with logistics company that want to use this information to actually verify inside in their circle this kind of information. Yeah, so I think there are separate user groups that you can actually take to actually give them an advantage and not having the full solution that what you say is the winner takes it all. I think it's much more easier also, and of course, easier and more faster to do it this way.
And this telco, oh, sorry, Christoph, you had a question? I think Christoph wants to say something, but you muted him.
Yeah, one second.
Great, thanks. Yeah, so just
I was wondering why you were waving.
I'm here. Just a quick question. I mean, there are similar efforts out there, if I understand it right. So, for example, Facebook, ID, and Amazon, and stuff like that. They're trying to at least in the online commerce, go in the same space. What is let's say, the additional value that you provide compared to them?
Yeah. So on the one hand, you still have, of course, the always what you could say that the blockchain advantage. You still have the decentralized structure, and the customer still has the full control of the data. You can say, okay, where was data shared, which I cannot do with a Facebook or also with an Apple or an Amazon login. I have to trust this kind of company. That's the one part. I think that's the generic argument if you're talking about blockchain companies. But the other advantage what we created is what we call a generic connectivity layer. Is also because the advantage, on the other hand, that sometimes these kind of classical login approaches have is they're much more integrated in the current web architecture. So what we did is like creating a kind of layer that actually connects the the blockchain, the advantages of the blockchain logging system with the classical systems of like an enterprise system, and to really make it work with, I don't know, CRM systems, shop systems, etc. So this is like more of a platform approach we are currently focusing on, which could also mean that on the one side, on the kind of wallet side, it's not just the own it wallet, but it could also be like a Facebook login being used on the platform.
What is your target group for your scale?
So the target group is on the one hand, so the parts you saw on the right, it's either like a service provider, like an online shop that wants to, as just one example, who wants to make easier the onboarding process of his customers, for example. That it has like a value in terms of the process, or also like telecommunication or bank providers, which have like verified KYC data, and actually are looking, because this data is just laying around there, and we can present them like a way to monetize this data in a very secure and controllable way.
So would the own it client get an ID of sort that you enter at a participating online shop, or how?
Yeah, so you would get several IDs, for example, that could be connected to your wallet, which you can actually share and also say, okay, where do I want to, so that you always have the history of actually where you shared your data with, and actually can also revoke the access to the data if you don't want to be the customer of an online shop again.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. Any more questions?
Yeah, I would be interested in your current traction. So what is your what are your financials, and do you look for funding?
So on the traction, as mentioned, because we are looking in the project with a telecommunication company, which is like under NDA, which I cannot talk about it kind of in this round. What we are currently looking funding. Yeah, we are trying to, because we are currently still part of a bigger company, but are looking for ways to kind of spin it out if as a possibility.
Okay, perfect. Then thanks for your pitch. We evaluated the results, and it was a close call, but in fact, Own It and Julian, you have been preferred as #1 for today. So congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll contact you separately, so we can like write an article about it and share some of it on social media. We'll contact you for that separately. To everyone else, thanks for participating. Thanks most of all to the jury. Thanks to the startups. Thanks to Disrupt Network for organizing the event. And we will have our next event in approximately 1 month. So thanks everyone for participating, and see you soon.